I am Brad Cruz, Associate Vice President, and I am thrilled to welcome you to this year's luncheon, and to the people joining us on live stream, welcome as well. Joining me on stage is Chris Pardis, the current president of the Alumni Association. Last year we did this, and we did very, very well. Once we start, we don't stop. We just keep this luncheon going. So there may be servers on the floor, but please just know the program is still going. We want to make sure that you get out of here in time to enjoy the rest of homecoming activities. And before we go any further, I'd like to give a round of applause to our pianist, Gaetano Parks. He is playing a piano graciously donated by Nancy Curfews Johnson, a triple alumna of Case Western Reserve University. Thank you, Nancy. There she is. Hi, Nancy. Homecoming is a celebration for our entire community, including alumni, families, friends, faculty, staff, and students. And it's so wonderful to have all of you back to share in your joy in recalling great memories. I hope you are as proud of Case Western Reserve University as we are of you. And it is great to have so many members of the university's academic leadership in attendance. When I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Joy Ward. Interim Dean, Christian Zorman, Case School of Engineering. Dean Kenneth Chance, School of Dental Medicine. Dean Stanton Gerson, School of Medicine. Dean Andrew Medeviv, Weatherhead School of Management. Dean Ronald L. Hickman Jr., Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing. Dean Paul Rose, School of Law. Dean Dexter Vorsan, Jack Joseph and Morton Mandel School of Applied Social Sciences. And lastly, Dean David Gertis, College of Arts and Sciences. We continue to welcome people. We welcome back to campus alumni 50 years or more who have graduated the university. We call these grand classes. We have over 100 grand class alumni attending homecoming festivities this weekend. If you are part of one of those grand classes, please stand or wave. For our loyal and true supporters, please be sure to visit the Shine On area downstairs near the check-in on the first floor. It recognizes alumni commitment to this university as donors and also as volunteers. As some of you know, we are distributing a few tokens of our deep appreciation, including a small gift. Thanks to all of our alumni donors, volunteers, for all the ways you help this university shine on. What would homecoming be without a homecoming court? Some members of the homecoming court are here with us today. If you're a member of that homecoming court, please stand. I think you have sashes on, if I saw correctly. We also have some other students that I would like to recognize. Would members of the CWRU baseball team please stand? All right, let me tell you about this team. This team had one of the most successful seasons in program history. They reached the super regional round of the NCAA Division III championship for the first time. They also won the third University Athletic Association championship in the last 4 years. Congratulations, baseball team. We're going to move from the diamond to the court. Would the tennis team please stand? The men's tennis team. They finished the season 29-6. They finished 29-6, the second most wins in a single season in program history. They reached the championship match for the fourth time in the last 5 years. Congratulations, guys. And now I'm going to turn it over to Chris for a couple of announcements.
Thank you, Brad. On behalf of the Alumni Association, I'm proud to welcome our alumni, students, families, faculty, and staff in attendance today. I'm also excited to announce that earlier this morning, we welcomed 5 new board members to our organization. 3 are with us today. Our new board members are Veronica Glogowski, Eric Hammond, Susan Ray, Demetrius Stiles, and Gary Valance. Veronica, Eric, and Demetrius are here. Will you please stand? I'd also like to recognize the current members of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. Those of you who are in attendance, would you also please stand? And would you please remain standing? All right. I asked the Emeriti board members who are also in attendance to join you. We thank you all for your continued commitment to CWRU. Moving on, we have 3 board members who are completing their terms at the end of this calendar year. Dante Gibbs, Alex Krantz, and I have enjoyed our time on the board and look to stay involved even with our term ending. 2 other board members, Carlene Bobrowski and Christina Shen, have opted not to seek a second term, but we thank both Carlene and Christina for their service and support. Throughout the year, alumni offices associated with the schools of Case Western Reserve present awards to alumni and members of the community. These award recipients are listed in your luncheon program and will be honored throughout the weekend. We would like to ask all recipients who are here today to please stand so that we may recognize you. Please join me for a round of applause for all our award recipients throughout campus. And now I'll turn the program back over to Brad. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Chris. In the Alumni Relations Office, we get asked from time to time, how can we assist current students and even fellow alumni? I have a simple answer for you. Join the Alumni Career Network. It is a wonderful online platform where you can interact, share knowledge, and become more involved and invested in the university, its students, and its alumni. When you leave today, we'll have some flyers out front. Please take one. It's very simple to join online. We would love to have you in this network. So now I invite you to continue enjoying lunch, and I turn the program over to the president of Case Western Reserve University, Eric W. Kaler.
Thank you, Brad, and thank you, Chris. And thank you to the entire Alumni Relations team and the Alumni Association for hosting this awards luncheon once again. As always, we appreciate your hard work to assemble us here as we honor our distinguished alumni. And to the alumni, welcome back. We're so glad you're here to reconnect with your classmates, to have a look around campus, and to watch our Spartan football team defeat Allegheny College tomorrow at DeSanto Field. I'm thrilled to have our baseball team and our men's tennis team here. The baseball team does make me reflect on the eternal burden that being a Phillies fan is. So if there are others of you in the room, I share your pain. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge our alumni honorees in the room. They are Kevin Russell, recipient of the Young Alumni Award, Judy Strauss-Schwartz, recipient of the Daniel T. Clancy Alumni Service Award. Jeffrey Varespi, recipient of the Newton D. Baker Distinguished Service Award. And William Giago, who will receive the Professional Achievement Award. And finally, Terrence Sejanowski, who will be honored with the Distinguished Alumni Award. Please, a round of applause for our honorees. Now, this afternoon, while you're finishing up your salads and the entrees come out, I want to take just a few minutes to go over what I call news, weather, and sports from the university this fall. So in August, we welcomed a first-year class of 1,663 students. Those came from 39,000 applicants, and it is the largest first-year class in the history of the university. Our research enterprise is strong. In fact, we are among the fastest growing research universities in the country, according to the 2024 NSF Higher Education Research and Development Survey. And we have every reason to believe when the 2025 survey comes out, we will actually be the fastest growing research university in the country. Our financial health is on solid ground, thanks to an approach that's both strategic and disciplined. Two of our best years in philanthropy have occurred since 2021, with a new record set in fiscal 2024. And we appreciate the generosity of our alumni in making that a reality for us. In fact, our alumni contributions last year grew 20% over the year before, which makes us one of the three fastest growing universities in the country in that category. We continue to grow our faculty ranks. We've hired 58 new faculty members as part of a program we call the Faculty 100 Initiative, which is a plan to add 100 new tenure or tenure track faculty to our ranks over the next coming years. And as you somehow have to know, we will celebrate our bicentennial in 2026, our 200th birthday. It's just around the corner. Every day, we work very hard to prepare the leaders and innovators for tomorrow. We're translating ideas into impact, and we are advancing health and the well-being of the human race. I am proud to say that Case Western Reserve University is a positive force in the world, despite what are clearly challenging times for higher education. So I'll begin to finish with sharing some of the common themes and questions I get during my conversations and meetings with your fellow alumni, both here in the U.S. and overseas. So here's what they want to know. They want to know how we're managing the changes at the federal level and the challenges at the federal level. They want to know about the impact of artificial intelligence on what we do and how we do it. And they want to know about the interdisciplinary science and engineering building, which is continuing to cause a traffic jam on MLK as you come down from Cedar Hill. And we're very happy to have that on time, on budget, and on schedule. So I'll begin with some words about the changes and challenges at the federal level. It's become clear that the partnership between research institutions and the federal government, which has existed since World War II and powered us through 80 years of world-leading innovation, is not going to be the same. The biggest change involves proposed cuts to funding for what are called indirect costs for research. Those are expenses like utilities, salaries for staff, and travel, and other elements that an institution incurs as a result of the direct work that goes to fund research, the purchasing of the supplies and equipment and the salaries for those people doing research. So several agencies in the National Institutes of Health, the Department of Energy, the National Science Foundation, and the Department of Defense, all key funders for our university, have proposed to cap the reimbursement rates for those indirect costs at 15% of the direct costs. In some case, that cap would reduce the amount a university would be reimbursed by as much as 50 to 75%. In other words, it would make it impossible for us to do research. So, as you might expect, these announcements have led to several lawsuits, all of which are still in litigation, and it remains to be seen where things will land, but we do not expect it to look the same. I also hear a lot of concern about international students and the impact of recent immigration policy changes. And this year, we certainly experienced more denials and visa delays than we have had in the past. And that was particularly true for students from India. but our visa office worked closely with enrollment management to mitigate the impact of these immigration policy changes and to get these students to campus. And that work paid off. Our first year international enrollment is roughly what it was for fall of last year. As I mentioned, people are also curious about the impact of AI on students, learning, and research. And our goal as a university community is always to interact with any technology ethically and responsibly. And to that end, we have an AI in Education initiative, which focuses on integrating AI in the classroom, in our research, and in our operations. We're also focused on growing the number of faculty who are using AI in their teaching and research, and we've integrated AI into courses across our schools. And we now offer an AI major and minor in computer and data science. The Provost's office has been leading great innovation in this space, and there's clearly no shortage of ways that AI will revolutionize what we do and how we do it. And we want to equip our community with the skills necessary to thrive in an AI-driven world. We have a great partnership with Microsoft. We're one of their key developers and partners in the educational space. The leader of that group at Microsoft was on campus not long ago. And he said, in his view, it would be unethical, that's the word he used, unethical for him to hire a student who was not versed in the uses and impacts of AI. That's how big a change this will bring to education and to what the workforce expects of students who leave our institution. And I've been talking a lot about the Interdisciplinary Science and Engineering building. That's a roughly 200,000 square foot building currently under construction on the Case Quad. Project total cost is $300 million. It's on the site of Yost Hall. And those of you who took a class in Yost Hall, perhaps some of you have been here long enough to have lived in Yost Hall when it was a dormitory. But if you have an attachment to Yost Hall, see me afterwards and I will sell you a brick for a very fair price. The ISEB will be dedicated entirely to collaborative research, with the exception of a coffee shop. And I'm pleased to share again that the construction remains on time and budget for the fall 2026 opening. And when completed, that ISEB will be a critical part of our research ecosystem, which includes the Sears Think Box, home to entrepreneurs, design, and prototyping, and our startup incubator on Cedar Avenue, which is the home base for commercialization. So I'd encourage you to visit the ISEB site when you're here this weekend. Obviously, it's a project we're excited about and one that will amplify the impact of the research we do. So beyond campus, there's no question these are unprecedented times. For our part, we hold true to our mission and our core values. Those have guided us through times of war, economic instability, and social unrest for nearly 200 years. And I am confident they will lead the way to our bright future. I'm glad to join you today to celebrate some of our outstanding alumni. And as I've said, we deeply appreciate your support, whether it's in the form of your time, your talent, or your treasure. So thank you. And with that, I'll turn things over to Nicholas Zeleny. Nicholas is a member of the Alumni Association Board, and he chairs the Recognition and Awards Committee. Please welcome him to the stage.
Afternoon. Our first award is a Young Alumni Award, which is given to an alum who is under 40 years old or younger and displayed exemplary professional achievement and service to their community. This year's recipient is Kevin Russell. Shortly after graduating in 2014 with a major in political science and a minor in economics, Kevin joined the Peace Corps and worked in the Kingdom of Tonga to improve education, and where he started the country's first national basketball program, which helped provide scholarships to students overseas. Kevin went on to work for Democracy International in Washington, D.C., where he implemented political development projects in countries like Bangladesh in an effort to build more sustainable and resilient societies. His subsequent work with the World Bank and other economic organizations and his completion of a master's degree in foreign service from Georgetown University led to his current role with the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, where he's currently the director of the Office of Equity and Investment Funds. And in March of 2023, Kevin privately founded the Zillennial Advisors, which is an investment advisory firm that works with Gen Z and millennials on strategies for debt management, budgeting, investment, and financial planning. And as if he wasn't currently busy enough, Kevin is working towards an MBA currently at the Wharton School. From advancing financial literacy to strengthening global education and democracy abroad, Kevin's work is helping people build brighter futures. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the 2025 Young Alumni Award winner, Kevin Russell.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, Kevin. Next up is the Daniel T. Clancy Alumni Service Award. Dan Clancy is the Senior Executive Director Emeritus for the CWRU Alumni Association after having led the department for many years. This award, which is established in Dan's honor, is intended to recognize an alum who has made a long and significant contribution of their time and talent to Case Western Reserve University alumni programs for at least 15 years. This year's recipient of the Daniel T. Clancy Alumni Service Award is Judy Strauss Schwartz. Judy is a proud member of the Western Reserve College class of 1974, having graduated with a major in American Studies. Her next stop was to pick up a Master's of Education at Boston College before embarking on a long and meaningful career as a teacher and consultant for blind and visually impaired children. Having moved to New York City, Judy was a dedicated volunteer with the New York Case Western Reserve Alumni Chapter, even before the current Alumni Association as we know it today was established in 2005. She went on to serve as president of the New York Alumni Association, and she served 2 consecutive terms on the CWRU Alumni Association Board of Directors. Her legacy also includes co-creating the creation of the CWRU Alumni Association Endowed Scholarship, which reached 100,000 in just a few years. Judy was recently honored by the College of Arts and Sciences for her distinguished service in 2019, and we are thrilled to present her with this award today in recognition of her lasting commitment to strengthening the ties between graduates and the university. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Judy Strauss Schwartz, who is the 2025 Daniel T. Clancy Alumni Service Award recipient.
So I don't have a jacket to pull it out. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to be standing up at the podium accepting the Dan T. Clancy Alumni Service Award. I've known Dan Clancy for, I think, more than 35 years and admire him for his commitment to the university and alumni. Additionally, I want to thank Brad and his team, plus the recognition committee, and the person or persons who put forth my name for this wonderful honor. Case Western Reserve is a school that I said I would never attend. The problem with the word never is it always seems to mean it will happen. When the admissions counselor from Case Western Reserve came to Scarsdale High School way back in the fall of 1969, he talked about the university in terms of dollars and cents. I thought, this is a school I'm not interested in. However, as luck might have it, my mom, who took me to the schools in the Boston area and then in the Cleveland area, insisted I see Case Western Reserve because we were here. I said no. She said yes. Guess who won? On seeing and touring the school, having an interview, I was hooked. It really looked like a great place I would like to come. The rest is history. Here is where I ended up in the fall of 1970, part of the class of 1974. I graduated in January of 74. I never attended my graduation. The reason for that is a whole nother story. But in the fall of 74, I decided to attend an alumni event at the Williams Club in New York City. Bill and George Ann Garrison were the host. I think Bill was president, he was a Casey, and George Ann graduated from the nursing school. They ran the New York Alumni Association for a number of years. I guess the New York Alumni Association is now the New York chapter. However, I got hooked on attending events, joining committees, working on events, telethons for fundraising, definitely not to my liking, running a dinner that was an annual event in Southern Connecticut for alums who never traveled to New York City, eventually becoming president, as Nicholas mentioned, and many years later joining the Case Western Reserve Alumni Association and becoming an emerita member. Doing all these things because I like the people who were part of the organizations. It's given me great pleasure to be part of the alumni organizations, though at times my family sometimes tires of hearing me talk about Case Western Reserve. They're just jealous of my relationship with the school. My daughter has become an honorary CWR member because of the CWRU friendships she's made. CWR friendships are everlasting, as John Massey mentioned last night at a reception. Being with and working with alumni is not a job, but maybe could be called an avocation or just plain fun. As I close, I again am grateful and humbled to receive this Dan T. Clancy Alumni Award. Congratulations to my fellow awardees. A special thanks to my husband, my sister, and friends who are in the room, and to my daughter, son-in-law, cousin, and friends who are watching live stream. Excuse me. There's always a possibility that maybe our new little granddaughter will someday become a member of the class of 2047. One never knows. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Judy. Our next award is the Newton Baker Distinguished Service Award. Newton Baker was a former member of Cleveland who encouraged others to give their time, talent, and service to the betterment of their community. The criteria established for this award allow any graduate, staff member, faculty, or friend of the university to be recognized for their extraordinary service and their contribution to the Case Western Reserve University community. This year's recipient is Jeffrey Thomas Verespi. As a transformative urban policy leader known for impactful work in revitalizing Cleveland's neighborhoods, Jeff has applied his bachelor's degree in political science and his MBA, both from CWRU, to be the perfect embodiment of the criteria established in Mayor Baker's honor. His work has included executive leadership for a number of local neighborhood development organizations, including Ohio City Inc., the Old Brooklyn Development Corporation, Cleveland Neighborhood Progress, and currently he serves as a community development market manager for PNC Bank, where he leads initiatives that include lending for affordable housing, economic development, community revitalization, engagement, and community service. He has also been recognized by Crane's Cleveland Business 40 Under 40 for his contributions to local rental and homeownership growth and green infrastructure, as well as a Young Alumnus Award by the College of Arts and Sciences for his early career. Not one to rest on his laurels, Jeff has also founded the Cleveland Alumni Chapter of CWRU, and he served as president of the CWRU Alumni Association. Please join me in congratulating Jeffrey Thomas Forespi on receiving this year's Newton Baker Distinguished Service Award.
Good afternoon. Humbled for the recognition, and there's a few people I'd like to thank, most of whom are not present, but their absence does not reflect an absence in my heart. First, the Alumni Association of CWRU, and particularly the Recognition Committee for this honor. I have a number of mentors at CWRU who helped guide my path. Letitia James, Janice Eatman Williams, a former recipient of this award, both from the Center for Civic Engagement and Learning. Handful of professors, dear friend Gladys Haddad, advisor Vince McHale, and general great guy. Wise leaders who taught me everything I know about community development. Colleen Gilson, India Pierce-Lee, Chris Ronayne, they meant a lot to me and still do. My dear friend, former award winner, nominator, and general sage, excellent question asker, David Johnson. And of course, my parents, Mike and Kathy, without whom I wouldn't be here. So thank you for being here. Service is what should bind us together, right? It begins in your home, begins on your block. It can be in your community, it can be in your church, and it can reach to far ends of the earth. And much of that's reflected in Newton D. Baker's life. Yes, he led our military efforts in World War I. Yes, he was very involved in national politics and impacting party decisions for generations. But his work began in Cleveland. He was mayor. More importantly, he was a public servant. He served under Tom Johnson, Cleveland's greatest mayor, as a law director. And every step of the way, he was involved in giving back to the community. And it's that commitment to Cleveland that brings me great honor that, I can be associated with him. Because it was during my time here at Case 19 years, when I was 19, not 19 years ago. I wish that was 19 years ago. When I was 19, that I made a commitment that I'd spend the rest of my life making Cleveland the greatest place it can be for the greatest number of people, for all people. And I know that his city was different than my city, different times, different eras. But what binds those two things together is the soil, is the people, is the culture, and it's what needs to be done. Because we both share a love of Cleveland. Everyone knows Cleveland, right? That's the name of our city. Many of you probably know that's not how it was originally named. It was originally named for Moses Cleveland, a land prospector from Connecticut. Came up the river and stayed here for about 13 days, decided to go back to Connecticut. But we were named after him with the extra A in the name, Cleaveland. We are a land that cleaves. And cleave is one of the most unique words in the English language. It's a contronym. it means two exact opposite things at the same time. To cleave is to permanently sever. To cleave is to also bind. Think about that. To cleave, the land that we live in is the land that severs, and it's the land that binds. And we all face choices every day. Too often, it's very easy to be severed, to be different, to fight. And what I would like to say, what service is about binding. We need more of that. We need more of that in Cleveland. Mere blocks away, we have folks who are dying from benign neglect and desperation. How can we bind? How can CWRU bind? How can each of you in your own life do that for a better case, for a better Cleveland, and for a better world? Thank you, fellow Alumni Award winners. It's an honor to even be associated with all of you. Have a great day.
Next, we would like to present this year's Professional Achievement Award, which is given to an alum who has achieved exceptional accomplishments in their career and brought distinction to themselves and to Case Western Reserve University. This year's recipient is Dr. William J. Kiego. Bill received both his Master of Arts and his doctorate in art history at Case Western Reserve University. He's gone on to a remarkably distinguished career as a scholar, professor, author, lecturer, and director of art institutions. Having established himself as a curator early in his career, with stops at the North Carolina Museum of Art, the Portland Art Museum, and the Toledo Museum of Art, Bill returned to Northeast Ohio as the director of the Allen Memorial Art Museum in Oberlin, Ohio, where he also served as an adjunct professor. In 1991, Bill began a remarkable tenure as the director of the McNay Art Museum in San Antonio, Texas, transforming it into a nationally respected institution over his 15 years of leadership. Coinciding with his work in building the museum experience and as a professor, Bill became a widely published author and respected lecturer in the fields of art history, curatorial practice, and museum studies. Finally, the CWRU community is also honored and proud that Bill frequently notes his education at Case Western Reserve University as a cornerstone of his success, which has given substantial visibility and credibility to the university's programs. Throughout his career, Bill has elevated institutions with his leadership, which has led to an even broader influence in the fields of art, history, and museum practice. Please join me as we welcome to the stage the recipient of the Professional Achievement Award, Dr. Bill Kiego.
Thanks. What's this say? Okay. Oh, fatal
If
first?
you don't mind.
Well, I'm very proud to receive this award and deeply honored by it. As I've said many times, I probably wouldn't be here if I hadn't come to Case Western Reserve in the fall of 1965. It's hard for me to believe that 60 years ago. I came here actually to study Latin American history on a fellowship. I had tried at the University of Virginia to major in art history, but back in those days, the UVA had one person teaching art history, so it really wasn't possible. And when I got to Cleveland, I looked at the Cleveland Museum of Art, and I said, I bet they have a good art history program next door. And I went to visit the chairman of the department, Ed Chapman, who's a wonderful man. And I said, I think I'm going to switch from what I came here for to art history if you'll let me in the program. And he said, okay, take some undergraduate courses and I'll let you in a year or so. And he did. And then he was a wonderful guy. He found me a replacement fellowship for the one I gave up for studying history. And the rest was really just a joy. I finally got what I really wanted to do, which was to study the history of art. And over the years, because of the great curators I was able to study with in the joint program, which flourishes beautifully today, I got to learn about museum work, a love of objects, as well as the history of art. And otherwise, I wouldn't have gone in the direction I did. And it really was, God was looking out for me when I came to Cleveland that fall, because it wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I want to thank especially Ed Chapman, who was the head of the department, who looked after me. And also, when I came here, I spent several years in classes and taking courses, but then I had to develop a topic. Ed Chapman told me, get a topic, I'll give you a fellowship, you can go abroad. So get a topic. And I worked on it for a while, and I finally came up with a topic in French Romantic painting and had the money to go to France. And then just before I left, I met a woman who would become my wife, Elizabeth Lee, who's sitting right down here. And it turns out she was the daughter of Sherman E. Lee, the director of the Cleveland Museum of Art. And so then I got another mentor once I got my PhD and finished my dissertation in Sherman, where my love of objects grew and grew. And so he became a second mentor to me, as well as the faculty and the curators at the museum. So it's been very, very special to come back here. I think the campus looks fantastic. We hadn't been back in 10 years. The museum looks wonderful. And I'm so proud to still be a part of this institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Great speech.
It's heavy.
Yeah. Congratulations again, Bill. Our final award this afternoon is the Distinguished Alumni Award. The Distinguished Alumni Award is the highest honor bestowed by the Alumni Association. It recognizes an alum who has achieved broad recognition in their profession for major contributions to the benefit of their community and humanity through the application of their Case Western Reserve University education. This award embodies the highest values and spirit of Case Western Reserve University. This year's recipient is Dr. Terence Sajanowski. A trailblazer in neuroscience, Terry's groundbreaking discoveries have reshaped science and technology by revolutionizing the study and understanding of the human brain, while also making pioneering contributions to artificial intelligence. Born and raised here in Cleveland, Terry received his degree in physics from the Case Institute of Technology in 1968. Moving on to graduate school at Princeton, his focus on the mysteries of the universe shifted to the equally unexplored frontier of the human brain. From that point on, Terry began a deep dive into unraveling the deepest mysteries of the human brain that has spanned over 50 years. Much of his work has been conducted at the Salk Institute for the Biological Sciences, one of the world's premier biomedical research institutions. He has, of course, received numerous awards for his work, including the renowned Gruber Prize in Neuroscience and the 2024 Brain Prize. Perhaps most notably, Terry is one of only 3 living individuals who is a member of all 4 national academies of medicine, sciences, engineering, and inventors. Terry is also highly regarded for his leadership in the working environments he nurtured and built, which created a free-flowing exchange of ideas and collegiality amongst his research teams. Furthermore, Terry's deep research and understanding of brain function has translated directly to the establishment of today's deep learning algorithms and generative AI models. It is my honor and privilege to welcome to the stage your 2025 Distinguished Alumnus, Dr. Terry Sajanowski.
I am very grateful that I was chosen for this honor. Many people were involved, I'm sure, in the choice, but one in particular is the person who nominated me. I'd like to shout out to Glenn Starkman. Is he here? Okay, well, in any case, chair of physics, and I think that is how I got into the consideration. So it's true, I matriculated a case, but my degree, I have a certificate in my office, is from Case Western Reserve University, because that's when the shift occurred. And in fact, I took several very important courses at Western Reserve, which really directed me toward what I eventually did is go to Princeton University to work with renowned physicists on general relativity. That's John Wheeler. So, the experience here put me on a firm foundation, and a lot has happened to me since then, but without that firm foundation, it would have really been difficult for me to really make these shifts that I've made in my career. So here we are, living in a revolution that is occurring. Is really quite remarkable. What's happened over the last 10 years, especially. So in AI, as you know, since almost 3 years ago when ChatGPT was made public, it was an overnight success that took 40 years to create. Hard work. And this was back in the 1980s when I was just beginning my career. It was very exciting, and it was. I had the privilege of working with Geoffrey Hinton, who last year won the Physics Nobel Prize, with John Hopfield, who was my thesis advisor at Princeton. So it was wonderful to be recognized, basking in their glory. Now, in fact, how many people remember here when the first time they actually typed in a question to ChatGPT? How many people remember what that experience was like? I was shocked. And it was as if an alien had landed on the earth and it was talking to us in perfect English. But the only thing we could be sure of is that it wasn't human. And we still don't understand how it does it, but it's exciting. And we're on this course, this almost like a rocket trajectory to the future. Now, a similar evolution has occurred in the neurosciences. In the last century, neuroscientists who were interested in recording from neurons in the cortex, which is the big outer rind which contains our knowledge base, could only do that with a microelectrode that could record from one neuron at a time. And just to give you a sense for how difficult that is, to understand a cortex with 10 billion neurons, one at a time, is a little bit like looking at an image, a painting, one pixel at a time. Well, first of all, it's going to take a long time, but more importantly, what's important about the picture isn't the pixel, it's how it's related to the other pixels. And until we had tools and techniques to record from a lot of neurons at the same time, we couldn't really see the big picture. And that's what we now have. The BRAIN Initiative was initiated. It was a grand challenge in science and technology back in 2012 by President Obama. And in fact, they just finished the last 10 years. This year is the 10th year of that $5 billion project. And we can now record from tens of thousands of neurons in dozens of brain areas. And now we really, for the first time, can begin to understand how all those areas interact with each other and create your ability to see things, your ability to think, your ability to love. I mean, all of those abilities are coming out of these neurons interacting in your brain. And so we're on the right track. We're gonna have insights over the next decade, which I think are going to really shift our understanding of ourselves. So here we are, and The I think the important thing is that we look to the future with caution, with hope, and kind of, we're living in this also time where there's a lot of disruptions, but there have always been disruptions. I mean, this is the fate of humans, is to live through disruptions. But in the end, disruptions are both have benefits and downsides. All new technologies can be used for good and bad, right? So it's really important for us to make sure that we use it in the right way and regulate it to prevent the bad guys from using it for bad reasons. So I really appreciate this award. I wouldn't be here if I did, as the other speaker said, if it didn't come to Case Western Reserve, obviously, wouldn't be an alumni. But I really appreciate the opportunity to have been here and interacted with so many faculty over those years. Thank you, Case Western Reserve.
Congratulations, Terry, and congratulations to all of this year's recipients. I would now like to turn the program over to Brad Cruz for some closing comments.
So first and foremost, I'm going to bring Kevin back to the stage. I want him to make a few remarks. So Kevin, please come back.
Good afternoon. So before I got here, Brad had emailed me and told me to keep my comments short. And so now that I'm preventing you into the next event for homecoming, I'm going to keep them even shorter. And I just want to say thank you so much to the Case Western community, and just want to say thank you to all of the champions and cheerleaders that I've had in my life. This award for me is less about me and more about the people in my life who have given me the courage to pursue my convictions. And so I say all that to say is thank you so much to Case, all of the professors who've been very instrumental in my life, services like the Office of Multicultural Affairs, Dr. D when she was here, Naomi Sig, professors like, so yeah, anyway, thank you.
All right, so remember to grab the Career Center flyer on your way out. I mean, the Alumni Career Network flyer on your way out. I have been a server in my life, and I want to just give a special shout out to our serving team tonight. It is so difficult, or this afternoon, to be unobtrusive while an awards ceremony is going on, and they have done a wonderful job. So, to Terry, to Jeff, to Bill, to Kevin, and to Judy, we celebrate you. We are inspired by you, and we are immensely proud to call you Case Western Reserve alumni. Congratulations. Award winners, come back to the stage and we'll get some photos. Have a good homecoming.